And I don't know, the rumors are everywhere. So some say like if you book an exam on Sunday, you'll get your score. If you book an exam after 7 p.m., you'll get like easy questions.
You see, you must have come across students who were really prepared. You also believed they looked prepared, they sound prepared, but then in the exam when they did the whole test, unfortunately they couldn't get the score.
So actually he was like this. So today he came for enrollment and he's saying me that he has his test after 2 days. And he says like he knows nothing about PT and his previous score was 19 or something, 19.
Oh. Guys, welcome to EnglishWise PT podcast. We have someone very special today. Her name is Bishakha. She is Masters in English and she's taught over 1,000 students in PTE. She's someone you would love to listen to because she has some practical insights as to how to clear your PT exam with least amount of practice and effort, which is not very common to hear because you always hear that you got to practice a lot, but she's got some ways around how you can put minimum but strategic time into preparing your PTE and get it out of the way. Welcome, Bishakha. Great to have you here. How are you today?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good.
And thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
No worries. I would love to know, you are an international student yourself. You have been in the shoe of a student. You have been in the shoe of a trainer. How important do you think is training for PTE? Because there are so many resources out there. There are so many videos on YouTube. There are so many softwares out there to practice. Why do you think coaching is still important, if you think so?
Okay, so I think PT is something which every student needs no matter in which visa he or she is in. Let's say we need it for conversion for visitor to student or let's say for TR or for PR. So PT is something that's really very important. And I believe since it is so very important that rather than relying on the YouTube content, which we can find it very easily, but we do not know, like let's say YouTube teaches us many things and says us what to do, but it does not tell us what not to do, which I think is very important. And let's say you learn a thing from YouTube, we do not know whether the credibility or the resources that you are getting are facts based. Let's say I am a YouTuber, I'm giving you so many lectures, like there is no fact to prove that I have sat for the test myself and I got the score that I'm giving you a lecture on it. So there is no proper checking on it. I would say no proper accuracy or consistency in it. So rather than the online platform that has so many templates, and that would create more confusion in students, like which template should I follow? So I think rather than following any other YouTube channels, yes, you can prepare, you can do your research, but I think you need somebody to correct, to give you feedback, and that part is not in YouTube. So I think in that way, face-to-face would be better, or let's say coming to any coaching center, not specifically this or that, any center would be helpful, I guess.
Top level advice. I loved when you said you may not learn what not to do on YouTube. And I think that's a big thing. Everybody is talking about what to do in PTE, but you don't get to hear what not to do in PTE, which is so important.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about what not to do in PT? Maybe 3 things that you should not do in the PT exam. Like this is absolutely no, big no.
So I think basically time management should be something that you should be very efficient at. You should know very well how to manage your time and all. Second, I would say, like, let's say your pitch should be really high in PTE. So it does matter what you are saying, but rather than that, since it is checked by a software, it has certain rules. So rather than, let's say what you are saying, or let's say how well you are clarifying the topic, it also matters on how well you are saying that. And since it is checked by a software, so rather than being rational, I think the pitch part is really essential. So the pitch part, some students, they do say like I'm speaking logically, like why is it necessary? But it is a rule set by the software. So we cannot argue or go forth. Means if we want the score, we need to follow it. So I would say the top 3 would be 1, time management, 2, having a high pitch, and let's say 3, do not panic no matter what. And for that specific reason, we need face-to-face classes. Because what happens if you do face-to-face classes, you are already in an environment where all the students are, let's say, reading, howling or screaming at the same time. So you know basically when you start the test, all other 10 other person will also start, right? So if you have practiced in that sort of environment, you would not panic at your exam. So these are the top 3 points.
That's awesome. I love the clarity and the confidence you have when you're answering these questions. When we talk about time management, what are we really talking about? Like how students can manage time? Is there any specific technique? And how much can it really help them in their PT exam?
Time management is something that is very important, and this comes with practice. There is no shortcut or any, like, let's say, one-step solution for that.
Right.
Now, let's say, in the case of describe image, which is a task that falls in speaking, the very first module of the PTE. So there are tasks like image, lecture, where you are given 40 seconds to speak, right? Now, let's say you have so many things to say or describe about the image, but let's say you're just beating around the bush, saying the first part, like there is a picture in front of me, blah, 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 all the thing, and you miss out on the content. And that will not lead you to good marks, right? So I think time management is important in the sense that you know what to say, the introduction, body, conclusion, all the 3 parts should be included, no matter what part you are doing. For example, if I move on to writing, there's a task called essay where you'll be given 20 minutes. So you should, like, let's say, complete within the first 13 minutes. The remaining time should be there to proofread your spellings and all.
Right.
So that is what I meant by time management specifically.
So it really depends question to question. And you should know in what question, what matters, and how you're going to manage your time for a particular question. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You briefly spoke about the software. Now, there are so many softwares out there. EnglishWise has its own AI software. There are some other credible softwares out there as well. I really want to understand, is there a value an actual teacher brings on the table, or the software isn't enough? Because it's AI, it's got the questions in there, you got the feedback, you get the scoring. So my question here is, why do I need a teacher?
Okay, so I feel a good question. Like, definitely you have the software, correct? And it will score you. It will give you an evaluation.
Yes.
Plus some softwares will give you explanation as well, like where you are going wrong. But like, let's say you need a teacher specifically because, like, since you asked me like which software is a good one or how should I rely on it, I would say all the softwares that are there in the market, none of it, I would say it's 100% accurate, because at the end it's a third party software. So let's just keep it this way, like we are using it for practice. The real one is the Pearson, where you go and give your exam. Having said that, none of the softwares are good or bad. Let's just take it as a platform to practice and learn things or learn from our mistakes. But let's not rely on the score that we get. Like, let's not become happy if we get 90 or sad if we get 50. But yes, more or less, we are on that path. I'm not saying like there would be a vast difference, but that doesn't totally determine where we stand. So you need teacher, because basically she will let you know like where you are going wrong. So like, let's say if the software gives you 1 point, the teacher will have 5 points to elaborate on it, and maybe that will give that detailed explanation, will help you more, like, okay, I'm doing this wrong, I need to do it this way. So now you have somebody to trust upon, I would say.
So my understanding is that if there is a real trainer, a PT expert, you will get more detailed explanation as to what's going wrong or what's going right. Whereas the softwares might give you limited feedback and it cannot be really relied upon.
Yes, and it's not always correct as well.
Correct as well.
Correct.
Right. Do you see some sort of pattern in students who don't get the score repeatedly? I mean, I've come across some students, they go for tests back to back and they fail back to back. I don't want to use the word fail, but they don't achieve their desired score, put it that way. What do you think is the reason? Like, there's this pattern. I see this pattern. Do you see the pattern as well, or it's something else?
Now we do have like certain number. There is always a success and a failure going on side by side. So I think this basically determines upon the student's mindset and let's say the amount of time he's spending on it and how important is PT for that particular individual. Because like say there are students who say I'm already on 75 points, which means he's already qualified to apply for his PR or whatsoever. So he's like, if I get 65, I can contribute 10 points, 75 will go up to 85. But if I get 79, I'll get 20 points. So like, let's say the target is not yet fixed. So he is itself, his mind is in a pendulum state. He doesn't know. So, and that's why the amount of hard work he's doing, he doesn't know what is it doing for. Like, let's say he's just walking on without any particular goal or mission in it. So I think that needs to be clear.
So the goal has to be clear, because if the strategy is not clear, then you're just going to hang in there in the middle, getting nowhere pretty much. If you have to score from 10, how many scores would you give to the mindset? Like out of 10, how important is your mindset for the PT exam compared to the actual knowledge of the test?
Okay. So I think mindset is 10 out of 10, which you should have.
Oh, I see.
After that comes practice, strategy, following the rules. Because let's say mindset is something like, let's say you're leaving from your home. You need to have a mindset that, okay, I'm going to this center, right? I'm leaving means I will take half an hour. There might be traffic. I might have to leave 5 minutes early. So blah and blah. So you need to have a clear mindset, right? So mindset is something which is very important, I would say.
Okay. And 3 ingredients for the right mindset, which will get you the score for PT. Important. I know there's a lot of things you got to get right when we talk about the mindset, but if we have to kind of make it concise and not worry about too many things, like what are the top 3 things I should be careful of as far as my mindset is concerned when I'm going for a PT exam?
I would just say having a positive mindset, like let's say encouraging, be motivated, don't feel discouraged, be motivated. So that's one thing. And second is you should know what you are doing. Like let's say you should know like, okay, I'm doing this. It might take certain time, but I'll eventually reach my goals. So the vision has to be there, not a short term, but a long term vision has to be there.
And patience as well.
Patience, yeah, correctly said. Correct.
So when we talk about these mindset techniques, is it something that you personally work on with students, or is it something that they need to figure out themselves? Because especially when we talk about being positive, I mean, I've come across students that have done the test multiple times, like 5 times, 6 times. And in that situation, it can be tough for them to stay motivated.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you must have come across students like this, or if they are in a situation where they have to sit for the exam next 5 days, 7 days, 2 days, 2 weeks. How can you stay calm or positive? Like any particular technique that you can share?
Like not a technique specifically, but you've already failed, let's say 6 times or 10 times, means something is going wrong. It's not just about booking the test and then sitting for the exam will get you the score. You have to work hard for it. So like, let's say if you are not prepared, there is no reason to book the test, I would say. So for that, I would say just practice enough, start getting the scores in your mock test. And once you start getting the score with the teacher's feedback, only then go and book your test. And it's quite normal and frustrating. Like no matter how much I say you need to have a positive mindset, if one do not get this score continuously for thrice or 4th attempt, they will be demotivated. So for that, I would say practice. Continuous practice is the only key. There is no one-step solution. So you should not stop practicing or change the way you are practicing. Let's say you're following a certain strategy that's not working for you. Go with another template or find out with your teacher. Like ask her, like, where am I going wrong? What do I need to do? Because every template is not going to work for everybody, right? So let's say there has to be certain changes made. So I think we need to change the template or maybe come up with some different strategy for that particular student like that.
Yeah. I have a question on templates, but before I come to that question, my biggest pain point is not my pain point, but there's one thing that I'm trying to figure out for the last 10 years, over 10 years, why students keep booking the test. They go for the first test, they don't get the score, they come back and the first thing they do is book another test.
Yeah.
But they don't think about getting any help. I'm just trying to understand what is that mindset. I mean, you have been an international student yourself here in Australia, and you may have a lot of peers and colleagues and friends of yours who are in a similar situation. So what are your thoughts on that? What could be the reason for that, and how can they fix? Is it a right thing, or how can they fix this?
I think students basically they book the test because one reason that I've seen this is when I say like you're not ready, don't book it. So like right now as well, they say from the month of July, rules are going to change, right?
Yeah.
So of course rules are going to change, and it has been changing, it will keep on changing, right? But we never know, like these rules might be a positive change as well. There might be questions that might be easier than the one that we are getting right now. Of course, we might come up with good templates, or let's say easy templates than this, right? So students already, they pre-assume things.
Yeah.
So I think that could be one reason. Like they pre-assume things and they say like the rules are changing.
There's fear.
Yeah, there's a fear in them. And for that reason, they keep booking one or the another test. And I don't know, the rumors are everywhere. So some say like if you book an exam on Sunday, you'll get your score.
Oh, really?
Some say if you book an exam after 7 p.m., you'll get like easy questions. So maybe in order to get the desired score, they follow each and everything which are not needed. So yeah.
Yeah, and that brings me to an interesting question about the test centers. What is the best test center to go? Is that a thing? Does it really matter? Like, I don't know. Does it make a difference where you go and sit for the test?
So I've got this question a lot from students.
I know, I can imagine.
Like, what center should I book in? Where will I get my score? This and that. But I would say any center that has a good computer that's working, a proper keyboard where you can see the alphabets, the mouse is working, and the headphones are fine. I think that's good. That is called a good center according to me. Apart from that, there's nothing called easy center where you will go and your luck will work out and you'll get your marks. It's nothing like that if you ask me.
Okay. But how do you figure out like which center has all this equipment working fine? Is there a way, like if I'm going for the first time, I have no idea?
So normally when I am booking the test, if that student is mine, I generally recommend a certain center. Reason for that is nothing particular. It's just that I have given the test on that center. So based on that experience, I did not encounter any problem. I found it well and good. So I just say them that. That doesn't mean that the others are bad. It's just that I've never been to other centers.
Oh, okay. So they can basically ask a friend or take some feedback from, maybe their teacher, if they have one, someone who's training them, or maybe a friend who can give them a genuine feedback and go for the center. Makes sense. Yeah. Some students are not familiar with what can go wrong technically in the exam.
Yep.
So you are in the middle of the exam, something goes wrong, your screen freezes, you have some sort of technical issue. Are you familiar with what students can do? Like there are some people who are watching this right now and they may have no idea what can go wrong. Like any advice, like what should they do in that situation?
So the first time I gave my PTE test back in India, I faced the situation myself.
All right, okay.
And I did not know what to do, so I could not do anything. But now I know what to do. So
yeah, please share.
So the thing is, if something goes wrong in the PTE center, like then and there's a microphone in each and every cabin. So you can just raise your hand and somebody will assist you. Maybe she will just turn on the computer and you have to resume your test from whatsoever you were doing. Or you might miss one or two questions as well, which might lead you to affecting your score. But if that kind of technical issues has taken place when you were doing the exam, you need to complete the exam no matter what.
Okay.
And once you are done with the exam, the 2-hour phase is over. Before you leave the exam center, you let the supervisor, whoever was the in charge that time, you let them know that I face so and so issue, and they'll give you a case ID kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So we just take that case ID before we leave the examination center. If we don't take that, then of course our whatever we say will make no point or will have no proof. So once we get that case ID, we need to contact Pearson if we encounter any such technical issues like that. Now Pearson will go through the whole 2-hour test that we went through, and if our issue is really original and authentic, then they will refund, not like refund as in the money, but they will give us another test date for free.
Credit.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much. It was a valuable piece of information that you shared. Thank you. I want to come back to the templates now. A lot of rumors might be true. The templates that have been working in the exam for years are not working in the exam anymore. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so this thing is currently going on.
Yeah, I know. It's a trend.
So I would just say, like today itself, I got my 3 students their score.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So all was, one needed 65, she got 66, and another, both of them are in 72 and 73 line. So I would say the templates are working. Let's say they just has been upgraded if you need more score. Let's say if you need score 8 or 9, then the same old templates are not working if you need a higher score. But if you are targeting for 7 or less than 7, it's all good. But Pearson these days is blocking the use of same words again and again. Okay, but having said that, I don't know why, but this is not the case if you need 7 band. Because I followed that. I gave my test just 1 month back.
Okay.
Yeah, just to test all of this thing, and I needed it for my personal thing as well. So I did the test myself as well. So if you are targeting for 8 or 9, then you need to upgrade whatever templates you are using.
Oh, brilliant.
And if you're targeting for 7 or so, then the same old templates are going fine.
I think this is a great information. It's going to clear so many doubts. Just to repeat, if you are aiming for 7, the templates might work. The ones they should work, the old ones. But for 8 or more than 8, you must use something new, is it?
Yes.
With the templates, how important are they? Like, if I don't want to use templates, is that okay, or everybody has to use templates?
Okay, so using template is not compulsory as long as you are confident in your speech, you're rich in vocabulary, you have a consistent pattern of speaking. So if you are familiar with all of that, and let's say if you know the organizational structure of the PT, then using a template is not compulsory.
Makes sense.
Yes. But having said that, you need to be confident, you need to be at one flow, you need to be fluent, and you cannot speak anything or be beating around the bush. You need to be particular, and let's say whatever vocabulary is needed in order to describe, or let's say whatever the question is, you need to be answering that in a fluent manner.
Okay, makes sense. So the fact that if you have rich vocab, you are not beating around the bush, you can cover the content, then you should be fine without templates, right?
Yes, having said that, you need to follow certain rules as well. Like you need to speak for a certain amount of time. That needs to be maintained as well.
Most important question in PT. I know it's a commonly asked question, but something that students think is not important, but it's actually important. If not the most important question.
Do you want me to say the most important or the least important?
Important, but maybe students are not aware. Most students may not be aware that it is important.
Okay.
Like there's a misconception out there about this question that it's not important, but the fact is that it is important. Is there any question like that?
Okay, so there are many, but I would just say summarize written text, which is the first task of writing. So normally it's easy because you just write down or let's say copy paste the same lines that are above in the text given, followed by some connectors. So if you do that, you are just contributing marks to your writing section. But the thing is, summarize written text means you read it and then you write it. Means you are not being checked on the basis of just the writing or the word count thing. You are being checked on the way you are picking up the lines as well. So it does contribute marks to your reading as well, which is all the grammar part, the grammar, the reading section.
Right.
Yeah. So summarized written text, students normally they just copy paste the 3 lines and make sure that the word count is in between 60 to 75 with 1 full stop. Yes, if they follow that, they definitely get 7 out of 7 for the writing module. But for the reading module, they are not contributing much because the lines they have taken are not interrelated, or let's say is not making much sense. So they do not contribute much to reading.
Right.
And students are a little weak in the reading section. Having said that, it's all grammar. Right? So I feel that is a task which student needs to focus more.
Okay, thank you so much. So this is one question where most of the students might feel that it's all right, not a big deal, but it is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Repeat sentences, important part of PTE. Any easy technique that you can share when it comes to repeat sentences?
Repeat sentence definitely is like a game changer for PTE. That's a very important task. So I would just recommend, it's not normally students confuse repeat sentence with repeating each and every word the speaker said. So if you are just saying or following the meaning of, let's say, whatever the speaker said, let's say I say, today I went to the airport and have a coffee or had a coffee. So you can just say, I went to the airport to grab a coffee, or I had a coffee in the airport today morning or early morning. So basically, you don't have to use the same words. We can paraphrase it as long as we are fluent enough.
Wow, this is interesting because I never really heard about it. I think it's going to be something new for students, right? So you don't have to use the exact words. You can paraphrase.
Yes, as long as we are fluent and we can do it, we can paraphrase. We don't exactly need the repetition of the same words because, like said, this is an English test and not like, let's say, nobody is testing our memory, like how good we are at memorizing, let's say, certain things. So that's okay if you want to paraphrase. It's not going to affect your score.
And you can still get full marks on this question.
Yes, as long as you are fluent, you will get full marks.
Describe image, important question. I see a lot of students, I actually hear a lot of students, this image is blah, 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 that set template which has been there for years and years. What are your thoughts on that? Like they just say whatever they want to say. Does that work, or you really need to look at the image and say what it really means?
So the introduction part can be used as a filler, whatever we are saying, that can be the template part. So that is fine, I would say, even though it doesn't make sense.
It's a beautiful image.
Yeah.
So
even though it doesn't make sense, but that will give your marks to fluency. So that is fine. But regarding the content part, you have to look at the image and say some words, or let's say at least 60% of the words that is there in the image. Reason behind that is, as long as I do not use the words that are there in the image, because it is checked by a software, the software will not understand that I'm really describing that image. But if I just use the word, the software understands, like taking these words into consideration, I'm describing it.
Right. Makes sense. I'm going to change a bit of my track on my questions. You see, you must have come across students who you know were really prepared. They knew that they were going to get the score. You also believed. They looked prepared, they sound prepared, but then in the exam when they did the whole test, unfortunately they couldn't get the score. Now in this situation, what do you see the common blunder a student might make? Where the student was prepared, but on the exam day, things just didn't go the way they should have been. What is usually the reason, if you have come across a situation like this in the past?
So I would say there could be 3 things. First could be they might have panicked, something might have gone wrong, they might have panicked, and fear is something which can't be controlled. It might happen anytime, anywhere because of whatsoever reason. So they might have panicked or something like that. Second could be overconfidence as well.
Yeah.
So now let's say they are hearing from the trainer, okay, you're good enough, you're good to book a test, blah, blah, blah. So that might have aroused some kind of superiority, or let's say overconfidence in him or her. Second could be that as well. And third, I would say is like, let's say when you're doing the test and you forget something. Like, let's say you're not following the template, you are writing on your own, but let's say you remember something that you saw from YouTube, or you remember something that your friend said, right?
Right.
And like now the person gets confused. Should I do this or should I do that? Now, in order to like write the best answer, now the person gets on trap. Like the best becomes the worst in reality. So I would say too many assumptions or suggestions is also bad in a way. Just stick to one criteria, because maybe that suggestion worked for that person, not necessarily will work for you as well.
Right. So is it a good advice to forget everything what you've learned from YouTube or friends before you start your training in a center, or if you have a mentor?
So normally when I get new enrollments in my institute, I just ask like, are you following any channels right now? Because otherwise if I just start explaining, they will say, no ma'am, this channel was saying this, that channel was saying that. So to clear the air, I ask them this question on the very first day itself.
Yeah.
And if I get a student who says, no, I know nothing about PT, I think it's good if I get that kind of student because it's very easy to fill a bucket if it's quite empty.
Yes.
Right? I can fill it easily. Everything that I say, he or she will grasp it all, right? But if there's a student who has got half knowledge, or let's say half information, now that becomes very tricky to convince that sort of student, and they are very rigid in their way as well. So yeah, I would say like have a little knowledge could be dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, if you are planning to take some coaching, drop all your knowledge before you walk in to the center. Yeah. Now that totally makes sense. On the contrary, you have a student who is not sure but has to go for the test. You don't have much hope and surprisingly gets a score. What sort of trait or quality you see there? Like in what scenario a student who was not expecting the score might get the score? If again you have come across a similar situation in the past.
Okay. So can I take the name of the student as well during this?
Yes, we can do a beep if they are not willing.
Okay. So actually there was a student named Samuel. So you can see it in the review section as well if you go.
Right.
So actually he was like this. So today he came for enrollment and he's saying me that he has his test after 2 days. And he says like he knows nothing about PT and his previous score was 19 or something, 19.
Oh, okay.
And he just needed 36 for his sponsorship. Okay. So he came and then he studied with me for that whole day, like let's say almost 5 hours. And in that 5 hours, I could have just said like, I cannot complete it in one day. So, and the next thing was tomorrow itself, he was going to Townsville. Okay. And he was saying me like, today I have to complete all the 4 sections.
Right.
And the thing is, he has nothing. Like, let's say even if he had a rough idea, I would have just said, and he's not the only student in my class to give all my time to.
Yeah.
But now as a teacher, since I heard that he has his test and it's just 36, I feel like, okay, 36 is a very easy score if I just push him once. So that day we just sat and then I explained him all the sections. And to my surprise, he got the score. And he has written the review as well, but he studied for 5 hours that day. But the whole 5 hour that he was in the center, he was very patient. He was listening to each and everything that I was saying. He was practicing, coming out, asking me questions. He did one mock test as well. So,
right.
Yeah. So it looks like it doesn't matter the hours, the number of hours you're spending.
Yeah.
As long as you are present in the moment. You are enjoying what you are doing. You know what you are doing it for. Right?
The quality of practice is more important
Correct.
than the quantity and the focus, I believe, that you put in.
Yeah.
Interesting case. There's another rumor that students have to sit for multiple tests before they get the score. Like Pearson wouldn't give them a score. I truly believe this is a rumor. What are your thoughts on that? Like, if you book the test too often, then you don't get the score compared to when you leave a bit of gap and go for the test, then you get the score.
Well, I think it's a rumor, definitely.
Okay, because you have a lot of experiences and so
So I definitely think it's a rumor. The another rumor that I hear is, let's say when you're booking the PT exam, you get to, there are a series of questions which needs to be filled, and one question is, why are you taking the PT test, right?
yes.
Yeah. So now student asks me, like, if I say nursing, which is 65, so they say like Pearson might not give me 65. So ma'am, shall I like select permanent residency? In that case, permanent residency is 79. Maybe Pearson will give me at least 65, which I need, right? So it looks like they're trying to play mind game, which is nothing. That is a software that does not have a heart or a brain to think or judge or anything as such. So I would say those are all rumors and has got nothing to do with you booking the test multiple way and then getting the score. So I think those are all rumors.
Thank you so much for this clarification, because so many students have asked me this question, like how I answer that particular question. That question where you have to answer why you're going for the test can affect the type of questions. And I have had no particular answer for that kind of question. So thank you so much. So it doesn't really matter why you're going for the test. It doesn't really affect the type of questions, is it?
No, it doesn't matter.
Right. Online coaching versus face-to-face coaching. What are your thoughts? Which one's better? Who should go for online coaching? And who should go for face-to-face?
Okay, so but since I'm a face-to-face trainer, I would definitely say face-to-face is best. Okay, and reason behind that is when you practice, when you come to exam like environment and practice, you get to see the trainer daily, you meet with her daily, you interact with her quite often. So the trainer knows what you are doing, where did I leave him yesterday at what page, and what is he doing right now. So she will obviously be there to check and balance you. Like, okay, you're doing good, you're doing bad. I need to push him in this section because he's weak in this section. So blah, blah, blah. The trainer more or less will have a history of that particular student, let's say. And when you come for face-to-face class, the main positive thing that I would recommend or that I see in my classes, you get to meet students that are of your level, that are below your level, and that are higher than your level. So somewhere you'll be motivated to come to class, right? You have peer talks among yourself.
That's right.
I think that is very encouraging. And rather than if I say something and if a friend advises something to you, I think you pick that quite quickly than the thing a trainer says.
Yes.
Maybe you form a rapport. Maybe you vibe with each other well, you are on the same boat. So that's the scenario what I don't particularly know. But face-to-face is very better. Also, everybody will be talking at the same time, reading, doing read aloud. So you won't panic when you go to the examination center all of a sudden.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. You know, international students have a lot going on. They got to study. They got to make sure that they're working enough to pay their fee, most of them. And then on top of that, they may have something like this to get across the line, like PTE test. So how can they organize themselves, and how can they make sure that they are not leaving it until the last moment? What is your advice on that? Like, you've been an international student yourself. We see a lot of students coming to us when they're running out of time. What's your advice on that? Like practical advice which students can really follow and can really work for them.
So I think you need to be a little proactive, not only in the case of PT, in the case of whole life itself. You need to know that you are not the only international student out here in Australia. If you look around, everybody is in the same page, which means everybody is going to uni, everybody is working somewhere or the other, day in and out, struggling, right? Everybody is maybe sending money back to their homes, and everybody is struggling to pay their uni or college fee, because whether it's uni or college, the fee is high, and everybody is doing their grocery, rent, everything, which means everybody is on the same page. And let's say if somebody is from a very wealthy or let's say high class background or whatever, he or she might have difference in opinion, but I feel would never have come to Australia. So if somebody has come to Australia, means he or she wants to do things better or wants to improve, right?
Yes.
So I just feel that you have embarked on this journey yourself. Nobody forced you. Now, since you're already on this journey, and there are many people whose visas are getting rejected every day. So I would
Yes.
just say there are hardship. I am not denying that there are hardship, but there are opportunities as well. In order to grasp that, you need to be proactive and need to remember many things in life that
Yeah.
will lead you to a more responsible person. This
Yes.
country, no matter how much you struggle or what, at the end you will become a responsible and a civilized citizen, which I think is very important, no matter in whatever phase of life.
Yeah, that's true. And talking about PTE, how should they prepare, when they should prepare? As I mentioned, students leave this until the end, to the very last minute. So a lot of time we hear excuses like, we don't have enough time. We've been busy working, studying. So how can they fix that situation? Because it is set. Like, it's very normal to leave this until the last minute. We've seen that. Can they really change this pattern?
So yes, you need to know that, okay, I need to do PT means at least from a month back, you need to have a mindset that I need to clear this. This is important for so and so thing. And I understand you are doing so many other things, but at least in this, out of this 24 hour, at least pick up 1 hour for yourself, for your career, for your long-term vision. And I would not say like 2, 3 or 4 hours. Yes, the more, the better. But if you cannot, at least 1 hour a day, I think is sufficient. Let's say for a certain amount of score, not for a high score, but at least 1 to 2 hours a day at least is enough to get your score. So I would just say like take out some time for yourself as well, keeping everything aside, because first you come and then only the other thing follows. So I think that is very much mandatory. You need to take out your time anyhow, maybe get up early in the morning, sleep 1 hour late. If you cannot attend face-to-face classes, go for online classes. You will be 10 other students as well.
Yeah. That's right. Any short success formula for PT? Like a step-by-step formula to make sure that you definitely pass the PT test. I mean, as I said, there's so much information out there when it comes to PT. There's so much content. Have you come up with like a short formula when it comes to PTE? Like you follow this, and you're going to get the score.
Yeah, so if it was that, I think all the students would be crowding in front of EnglishWise. But unfortunately, there's no like a certain thing called like short solution or something like that. Because it's not a medicine like you take it and then it starts reacting. So yes, of course, one short formula I would say is consistent practice following the teacher's feedback. If you are practicing continuously, that is not going to work. And if you are just taking the teacher's feedback, like some students have the habit of doing mock tests every alternate days.
Yeah.
So that is not going to improve your score. You did it yesterday, you're doing it today and tomorrow as well. You can say 68, 67, 66. You are on the same pattern. What new feedback should I come up with, right? So I think not the two things all together, but the two things should be combined. So consistent practice combined with the teacher's feedback is something I would say is a short solution.
Right. EnglishWise runs crash courses. There's others who offer crash courses. Do you really think they work? Like, honestly. And if not, or if yes, how long is the ideal time for preparation?
I definitely think crash courses work because, like said, it depends upon a student's mentality. If a student has set his target that I need to complete PT within this 1 month because after the other month I'll be busy, I'll be this and that. So it all determines on the student's mentality.
You mentioned that before as well.
And I have had many success students through crash courses. So I believe crash courses are quite effective because you are new, you have that passion, you learn well, you ask questions, you do not become monotonous. So the fire is like, let's say, fresh in you. So I think crash courses are really effective.
Yeah, you can't be lazy because you got limited time to prepare. And if you are in a crash course, how much practice are we looking at? Like on a daily basis, how many hours you recommend?
So I would say the practical, I could have said more, but I know students do not sit and
That's right.
practice for quite long. So I would say at least minimum 2 hours.
Okay. And is that on top of the time you spend at the institute, or it's including your training 2 hours?
This 2 hours is a
Yeah.
self-practice
Oh,
time
it's a
frame.
self-practice. And then you might be still going for some sort of class, face-to-face or online, and that's going to be on top of it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 to 3 hours or 2 to 4 hours a day. And are you going to do it for like 7 days or 5 days or 6 days? Would you recommend taking a break or?
So I think 5 days, 4 to
Okay.
5 days a week is fine.
And then when we talk about the crash course, how long are we looking at? Because it can be a 4-week crash course, it can be a 2-week crash course. How many weeks is like the average time you would recommend?
So there are other factors as well to determine that. Let's say like whether the student has appeared for the test before or not. Should I go from the basic foundation level, or I need to start from the intermediate level? So all this thing determines as well. And the main thing is the desired score they are looking for. If they're so if they're just targeting for 50 or 58, maybe I would just say like 2 weeks is enough, more than enough.
Okay.
But let's say if a person is targeting for 8, right? So I definitely do not think 2 weeks is enough.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yes, so it depends
Right.
what is his or her target score.
Okay. And then there have been students in the past who were enrolled in unlimited courses.
Yeah.
How would you compare them to fixed time courses like a month course, 2 months, 3 months? If they have an option, if you have an option as a student, what sort of course would you pick up? Would you go for unlimited or a month, 2 months, 3 months? What is the right strategy? Because students might see institutes just trying to make business out of it. So you being a trainer yourself and seeing all these students, what's your genuine advice? How long they should sign up for on an average again?
So like you mentioned, that could be a business motive as well, like
Yeah.
giving unlimited.
Yeah.
But what you need to understand is you are not here in Australia or anywhere just to study PT rigorously for 1 year. Let's say I say $100 for 1 year. That doesn't mean like just because it's $100, you're going to sign up for a period of 1 year. At the same time, you need to understand that you're wasting your 1 year for this simple PT thing, which could have been done in 1 month, right? So you must have saved cost-wise, but you are missing it in the other thing as well. This $100 you could have easily earned or do something else.
Yeah.
So I think setting a target is very important. I think I've mentioned before as well.
Yes, multiple times.
Multiple times, yes.
Yeah.
So rather than like going after the cost, like go for quality approach, I would say. And definitely, if somebody is getting the score in 1 month, you need to question yourself, like, why not me? So maybe 1 month can go up to 2 months, but it cannot be 6 months or 1 year. So I would definitely say, be consistent in your practice and be clear, like, why do you need the score? How far? What's your time routine? Like, just set a goal, I would say. Just set a goal.
Yeah, makes sense. Would you like to share any secret, like something about PTE which most students may not be aware of? Something that can help them to escalate their score if they're struggling to get the score?
There's nothing called secrets, as in secrets.
Yeah, maybe like a question technique or a strategy that you have come up after teaching so many students and from your experience, something you know that they may not find on YouTube or, you know, in a software, something that is coming from your personal experience. Is there any particular strategy, technique, or a secret, as I asked, something that can really be a game changer for them, but they may not be aware of that?
Okay, so one thing that I recently did in my exam, and I do to almost all of my students, you can say if you go through the review section, is for the speaking read alouds, like we do the one-line strategy, which I know many people are skeptical to try about it. So I would not say like jump to do it without knowing the proper structure or format of how to do it. So I would definitely say, like, if the one-line strategy is working for you, that would be a game changer in accelerating your score, because read aloud is a task that gives you maximum marks as well. It is one of the tasks. So I would say, yes, maybe you could try one-line strategy, taking proper feedback from your trainer, because at the same time, it doesn't work for everybody.
And how can you figure out that it's not going to work for you?
So what I do to my student is, since let's say any portal that you go and try, it does not support one-line strategy, because this one-line strategy is something that came into existence just 1 or 2 years back. But the other softwares where you have to read everything, it's been there since 10, 12 years. So there is no exact portal to go and check whether one line is working or not. And I cannot judge, because sometimes I feel, yes, a student is doing well, but might not be the same scenario in the real case. So what I tell my student is to buy a Pearson test from the Pearson portal itself.
Right.
So we do that quite often in our center. So if we are, and we do the one-line strategy in read aloud, if we are getting in the Pearson mock test, so I suggest my students to do the same in their real exam as well. And they do that, and they are getting the marks as well.
Yeah, right. I had a chat with one of our trainers in Melbourne. We did a podcast, and there she mentioned that you should not even rely on the official mock test because of certain reasons, how you've set up the whole environment around you, how your headsets are, and the kind of system you're using. What are your thoughts on that? How much can you rely on the official PT mock test to kind of get an idea where you stand?
Definitely, it's not like the same marks that you get in your score, but the thing is, students normally are in 50s line, let's say 58, or let's say they need 65, they are in 62, right? So if they are doing the one line and their speaking score is going to 71 or 81, then definitely I'm just concerned about the speaking part, because that's what I tried, the read aloud. And since I cannot buy a sectional test in Pearson, that is why I'm buying the Pearson full mock test. So that is one thing. The second part is, how much should we rely? So I think you cannot rely completely, yes, of course, but compared to the other portals, I think it gives a decent, let's say you can rely on it at least 70 to 75%.
Right. So if you have to rely on any software, relying on the official PT software or the mock test is probably the best choice, is it? Among
Not
softwares.
the best, but let's say a decent choice.
Okay, all right. And I'm sure this might be going on in a lot of students' mind, how close you have to be before you can book the real exam. So let's say I'm aiming for 65. What sort of score I should be looking at in my official, Pearson's official mock test or EnglishWise mock test before I can book the real exam? Like, where should my scoring be if I'm aiming for 65?
So the EnglishWise software is quite appropriate. The only reason is that it doesn't support one-line strategy. Other than that, the Pearson portal and the EnglishWise portal, I don't find much of a difference in it, nor in the marking criteria as well. So the only thing is, EnglishWise portal do not support one line. For that reason, we have to buy a Pearson mock test. And regarding the marking criteria, I would say, like, let's say if I need 65 and if I'm roughly getting 60 in my EnglishWise or in the Pearson portal, then I think I'm ready enough to book the test, because 5 marks can be up and down as per me and my experience.
Right. So 5 points of variation is acceptable. So if I'm aiming for 65 and I am getting my scores in 60s, then I can book the test. Or would you rather recommend student to make sure that they are getting more than 65 in the practice mock test before they book the real exam, or it doesn't really matter?
So in the case of EnglishWise, I say like 60 is enough. And in the case of Pearson, the higher the better. But it could be 5 marks more or less.
More or less, yes. Right. I think that's a great answer. Thank you. I think it gives a good idea to the students who are planning to book for the real exam. Listening is an important module. Is it the most important module, or like where would you place listening, like among all the other modules, reading, writing, listening, speaking? How important is listening in the exam?
So definitely all the 4 sections are important, because comprising all the 4 sections, you get your overall score. But if I have to rank it in, like,
Yes.
let's say number wise,
Yeah.
I would definitely say speaking is 1, because speaking is, like, let's say the backbone of PTE.
Yeah.
And it is a module that doesn't take from writing, reading or listening, but gives to all and takes from none. So I would definitely say speaking is number 1, followed by the others. I cannot exactly place it this after that, but listening could be 2, but
Yeah.
1 is always speaking,
Okay.
as per my experience.
Right. And then what would be the second one?
I
Third
would
and the
say
fourth?
I would say second could be listening, because
Right.
it gives marks to writing section as well, which means it covers up the writing section as well.
So
Followed-
speaking more important than listening. So listening is probably sitting at the second, according
Yes.
to you. And the third would be
Third would be reading,
reading,
followed
yeah.
by writing.
Writing. Okay. Thank you so much. I think I'm pretty much done with my questions, unless you want to share something else. Is there something else you would like to say to our audience, say to students that can help them to get the score, or anything general?
Nothing, just like I wish everyone all the best who are, like, let's say planning to give their PTE. And never rely on the YouTube videos completely, because you always have to double check. And like said, just because one template is working for one person doesn't mean it will work for you as well. Because PT is more about accent and clarity, which differs from each person to person. And the main thing I would like to clear is it has got nothing to do with accents, because
Yeah.
PT is a test designed for non-native speaker. It is not for, like, let's say Aussie people or the native speaker. So when it is a test designed for non-native speaker, means Pearson is pretty much familiar that every non-native speaker will have different sort of speaking. So it has got nothing to do with accent, and just that, all the best.
Thank you so much, Vishaka.
Thank you, sir.
Valuable insights, lot of relevant information, and obviously some unknown secrets that you usually would share with EnglishWise students. Thank you so much for sharing this with a larger group of students, and I'm pretty sure a lot of students are going to get some key takeaways from this podcast, which I hope they will implement and get the desired score. Guys, if you need any help, you can let us know. More than happy to coach you, train you, mentor you on your PT exam. If you are still struggling to get your desired score, Bishaka is here. She's based in Brisbane. If you are in Queensland, more than happy to come to our center, and we would love to help you. Thank you so much once again, and thank you guys. See you soon. Thank you.